How's it going, guys? Grimsie42 here, and welcome back to part 2 of my Midwest Gaming Classic road trip. Everything in this video is going to be stuff that I picked up at the actual show, right at the convention itself, so definitely quality over quantity here, and some stuff that I've really wanted in my collection, especially one item which I never thought I would see, especially at the price that I found it. So deals are out there, guys. Anyways, without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, let's actually go ahead and start this one off with a bang. There are a few items here that were actually purchased for me by my buddy Oleg, aka Mr. Sintastic, who actually came with me to the show. And for those of you who are into videos that aren't so much pickup focused and have a lot of like road footage and you know, stuff where, you know, actually seeing the convention, things like that, I will actually link his video below. He's got a ton of that stuff, so definitely go ahead and check that out. I'm in at a pretty good amount, and it pretty much chronicles our road trip. So it'll give you guys, I guess, a little more of the backstory of how a lot of these pickups were to happen, or, you know, what the venue looked like, or our journey up the road, and some of the stores, etc. So definitely recommend you guys check that out. Like I said, after the video, I will link it below so you guys can give it a peek. Anyways, how these came about, these pickups here, are basically when we were at one of the stores, the guy was willing to haggle as long as you paid cash, and Mr. Sintastic didn't have cash on him. He was using his card. So I fronted him the cash, knowing that, you know, later he could grab me items that, you know, he could use his card for. So the first item he grabbed me is a title that I've really been looking for, and I'm really happy to find this one complete and in really, really good shape. It is another renovation title. This one is Arrow Flash, and it looks like a pretty fun shooter. It comes highly recommended from him. He tells me it's a good game, and like I said, it's in really, really good shape. So super happy to get this one out of the way. The next two are actually a bundle deal that he did with Joe Ross's Cerulean games. Joe always has an incredible selection. I call him the Coach Purse store of conventions, because he definitely focuses on quality over quantity. And he's got like really nice display cases, very knowledgeable. A lot of his stuff is in like the top-notch condition. I'll actually link his video below also for you guys to check out. He did a pickups video on what he found at the convention that he'll have for sale at future conventions. So definitely recommend you guys check him out also, not only for the style of pickup videos, but he has a very intelligent way of articulating the things he finds in the condition they're in. That's one of the things that actually originally drew me towards his channel, is just the way he conveys what he's trying to say. So definitely a thinking type of guy. So anyways, these two items Mr. Sintastic got off of him, and that ended our debt, which made me happy. The first one I already had a cartridge for, but this one has a case. It's Heavy Nova. And unfortunately, it's got one of those rental manuals in it, like a black and white printed out manual. So the hunt still continues for a manual, but I heard this game kind of sucks anyway, so no big hurry, but if I find a manual for this, I will be happy to complete it. And the next one is yet another renovation title. This one kind of looks like a action platformer, but who knows, it could be an RPG for all I know. And this one is Exile. And again, really, really good shape. So good to get another renovation title out of the way. Like I said, I really focused on picking these up as much as I could at this show, and I'm glad to get another one. This next game, a buddy of mine, Matt, who actually works with and does some of the filming for Arcade Impossible. That's the show with Greg and Mike, where they go around and they look for arcade cabinets and get good deals, restore them. Pretty good show. I really wish they put content out more frequently, but you know, a lot of people don't do this for a living. It's just a hobby, so I can totally understand that. But I'll link their channel down below if you guys haven't seen that either. But he basically came up to me and he had this, and he said, you know, hey Scott, is this something you're interested in? And I said, yeah, definitely. And I asked him what he wanted for it, and he said $5. So I was just like, phew, you know, I was really happy to pick up another Atlas title actually, and for only $5. This one is Knights in the Nightmare, and it looks pretty cool. It's this again looks like a strategy RPG, but everything is in there. It's complete and in really good shape. So good to see you again, Matt, and I really appreciate the bro price on this. Next, these were all, believe it or not, $1 each. These are all just the box and manual, but I actually needed the box and manual to complete one of mine, and the other two I know I'll find cheap, and then I'll have complete copies of those. First one is NBA Showdown, like I said, just box and manual. And graphics look relatively good for the Super Nintendo, to be honest. Next one is Madden 95. And last but not least is Ken Griffey Major League Baseball. So cool just to get 3 more boxes and manuals, push me a little closer if I ever decide to go for, you know, a complete Super Nintendo set, which I'm slowly working towards. I did pass the 300 mark at this convention, so definitely good to pick up the cheap ones when you can. $1 for a box and manual is a great price. These next two were actually, believe it or not, even though I'm showing you towards the end, the first pickups that I got at the actual convention. I actually helped out Buzzy and Jay of the Bad GraFx Gamers, so I had a vendor badge which allowed me to get in there before the show even opened, which was great because lines suck and waiting in them sucks even more. But basically I got the seller, who actually knew who I was, which definitely helped, I imagine, bundle these for me, and he only asked $40 for the pair. So I thought that was amazing. I was really, really happy. This first one here is, as far as I know, one of the only, if not the only, video game that actually stars Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I'm actually a huge fan of Van Damme. A lot of people who grew up in the 80s and 90s, you know, saw his crazy style of martial arts movies, and they always definitely resonated with me. I enjoyed them. So to pick this up, it's something I've been looking for a while, and it's complete in box. This is actually based off the Turrican engine, so that's really cool. And it's a title by Accolade, and it is Universal Soldier. And it comes in one of these weird boxes. It's actually in an outer box protector, so I really can't show you, but it like lifts up, kind of like the Double Dragon like this does, and then it's got the cartridge in like a little tray and the manual on top of it. But like I said, everything's in there, so really, really happy to get this. The other part of the bundle, and this one I actually thought was like a $50, $60 game. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I know Universal Soldier is supposed to be up there too. I don't think this is a cheap game. But this one here, they only had 30 on. And like I said, I bundled it with the Universal Soldier for the 40. It's not the greatest game ever, but it looks really, really interesting and something I want to try for myself. It's Ernest Evans, and yet again, another renovation title. So this one is again in immaculate shape. It's just got a very small, it actually looks like it's scotch taped on there, doorstop video rental sticker, and I'm actually going to leave it on there. As I started collecting and growing my collection, to really get an appreciation for these old rental stores, and as long as it's not like a huge disfiguring sticker, which usually they are, but in this case, just something on a manual, I'd rather leave it on there than try to like remove it and damage the manual, so I thought that was a pretty cool piece of history. Alright guys, 2 more items, and one of these is something I've really, really, really been looking for, so definitely excited about it. Before that, I'll show you an item that was actually gifted to me by Buzzy of the Bad GraFx Gamers. And again, I will link them down below also. If you guys haven't checked them out, they're really, really cool. I would consider them kind of like a wacky version of the Pawn Stars crew. Instead of buying games, they focus more on the selling aspect of it, but they have this really, really cool gimmick, if you will, where they put their customers through pain in exchange for a discount. So basically, if the customer tries to haggle, they'll typically agree to the price as long as it's reasonable in exchange for some sort of an embarrassing thing. So definitely something you should check out. It's really, really funny. I actually guest star in a number of the episodes, actually. I see them at conventions, and you know, I usually help them out, so I find my way into their episodes. So definitely something you guys should look into. Alright guys, anyways, the item that he gave me, I was extremely surprised that he just gave this to me. I guess he didn't really want it, but it's the camouflage version of the Neo Geo Pocket Color. And I would turn it on to show you guys it works, but the batteries are like just about to die, so I guess I'll hold off on that end. But it also came with a Metal Slug First Mission, so not only cool to get the system, but a game to play it in. So I'm really excited to check this out once I get that. Once I get the 2 different types of batteries. I know it takes 1 battery for the internal memory, and then it takes 2 AA's to power the system. So definitely excited. Also, let me know, guys, was there, I do see an extension line, was there a cable you could get for this where you could actually just plug it in and play? Because I really do prefer that. I hate, you know, running down batteries, so let me know, guys, because I'm definitely excited to check this out and see, just see what the system's about. Alright guys, last and certainly not least, this is something where a buddy of mine had one for trade for the longest time, and I was looking for the items he wanted because I really wanted to get this into my collection, and I was never able to find them. At least not, at a price I was willing to pay. And I saw this just sitting in a glass case at the last day of the convention, and they had $125 on it, and it said box only. And even at $125, I didn't think it was a terrible price for just the box, and it looked really clean. So I asked them if I could check it out. They handed it to me, and when they handed it to me, it felt pretty heavy. It definitely didn't feel like a box only. So I peeked in there, and it's literally everything except the cartridge. And after I show you guys, I'll give you a closer look at this so you can see just how clean it is. But this is something where, again, the hunt continues for the cartridge, but I now have a box, insert manual, all the other stuff, and I am super crazy, happy to say that I now have the box and all the goodies, like I said, for Ninja Gaiden, or Gaiden, depending on how you say it, Trilogy. And again, like I said, I will cut to show you guys just how clean this is, so let's check this out a little closer. Alright guys, just giving you a closer look like I promised at the box. As you can see, there's really no bends or damage anywhere. The flaps are all intact. It's got the actual inserts that came with it, and then the manual with, it's got a few little minor dings, and it's got a little piece of paper missing there, and a tiny little ding there, but all in all, really good shape. It's even got the tray undamaged with the original bag, and like I said, this box is just really clean. It's got a few little, nicks and dings on it if you're going to get real picky. There's this little dent here, but I mean, really, with this late release Super Nintendo game, you don't see them in this condition. Look how glossy the box still is. There's something that I'm tremendously happy to have in the collection. Very good price. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up part 2. Again, thank you guys so much for checking this out and watching, sticking around to the end. I really do enjoy the Midwest Gaming Classic. The ride-up is, usually full of game stores, which is awesome. The venue never disappoints. There's always something there for you. You're going to deal with high prices, but that's just the hobby we live in now, unfortunately. And if you have a good nose for hunting, you'll find the deals. I really thought this was one of those deals. I wound up getting it for $110, which I thought was more than fair, since I think in this condition a complete copy goes for around $300 plus. So I was very happy to get this. You really don't see this box in as clean condition and shape as this one, and I looked it over. I'm very certain that it's an authentic box. I know pirating is very common these days, but it's got the right damage, and it has the right ink patterns, the right type of cardboard, everything like that. Not to mention, I had a spare manual, and I compared my manual to this, and the manual is identical, same paper stock, same ink, etc. So I can rest assured that I got this great deal. And, the only thing I would say about this convention that really rubs me the wrong way is they literally do not cater to YouTubers at all. And while I don't expect them to roll the red carpet out, I know a lot of you guys like to see the YouTubers at the shows, and they don't bring any in as guests. They don't offer them media badges to, go in and film and promote their convention for them. So I just thought that was weird. There's really no panels, but the convention does offer a lot of cool stuff. It's got a little gaming museum. It's got a really cool pinball and console or cabinet arcade. Lots of video game consoles on free play. The dealer floor is always huge, so it has its high points. And like I said, it's just there's a few things about it that I really wish they would tweak to make it more enjoyable for everybody. And I guess the only other really knock I have on it is, I guess the badges are like $55 for the weekend, so it's also expensive to get in. So that's another thing where if you're trying to save money, I recommend just going on Sunday. I believe the badge for that was $20, so a little more affordable, but then you miss a lot of the early bird deals. Anyways guys, appreciate you watching and sticking around to the end, and as always, take care.